So it looks like they fixed Ciri, or maybe that's what they want you to believe. Now do keep in mind that what we got is not the official gameplay, but more of a tech demo, where the devs showed off their graphics, visual fidelity, and that revolutionary horse physics, which was truly groundbreaking because Rockstar definitely didn't do it better 7 years ago. Now credits were due, this does look incredible, and so does she. But what should you really expect from Ciri as a character and as a Witcher? Is CDPR just doing this to win the fans back? Because after watching this demo, I have some growing concerns about Ciri as the main protagonist. There's video chapters for easy viewing, so feel free to jump around, and without further ado, let's dive in. Now first things first, god damn. Thank God Ciri does not look like Bully Maguire anymore, and that's a huge win. She actually looks like a grown and matured version of the actual Ciri we know and love. However, I'm still not a fan of the new Cate Blanchett voice.
Let weeds be weeds, Kelpie.
Yeah, she is older now, but she did not go through puberty again to have her voice change this drastically. This voice does not match her face and just feels off. However, it does match the character portrayal, which we'll dive deeper into in just a bit. But anyways, I've seen some people say they didn't fix her face, it's just different lighting. Yeah, sure, because different lighting magically changes your bone structure. I mean, just take a look at this. As you can see for yourself, the face is naturally more feminine now. Ciri has a narrower jawline, softer chin, the eyes are a tad bit bigger, the eyebrows are darker, and the lips have a pinker tone. To me, this definitely feels like course correction. They tweaked her appearance following all the backlash from the cinematic trailer. That said, I still have some serious concerns about how Ciri is actually being portrayed here. Now, there's a fine line between confidence and being straight up insufferable. I liked the portrayal of Ciri in The Witcher 3. She was young, loud, headstrong, but it made sense because she was royalty. Now what's funny is this. The excuse for her looking like a man was, she's older now. Okay, fine. But shouldn't she act more maturely as well? Cause last time I checked, people grow wiser as they age. Right now, Ciri sounds like a 20-year-old girl boss trapped in the body of a 30-year-old. Now tell me this, why was Geralt such a relatable and believable character? He was a badass monster slayer who could snap any human like a twig. But despite all that, he showed restraint. He wasn't cocky, he was composed. It showed his level of wisdom and maturity to read the room cause he knew his kind was not welcome anywhere. People dislike Witchers, so he just took contracts, kept his head down, and stayed out of trouble unless trouble came looking. No matter how badass the guy was, the guy did not have an ego, and he definitely did not act entitled. Now the devs said while Geralt had this philosophy that
evil is evil, and I'd rather not choose,
Ciri will absolutely choose. On paper that sounds cool, since she does have a fiery personality, but if you're making her a Witcher, she should act like one. To understand this better, let's take a look at trailers for Witcher 3 and Witcher 4. Now here Ciri comes across some villagers who are ignorant and superstitious. They believe that a human sacrifice is the only way to keep the village safe. Even though it's gut-wrenching for this father and his daughter, they're still willing to go through the ritual because it's their faith. Now Ciri Chad sends the girl back and kills the monster, but when she returns, she finds that the people still went ahead and sacrificed the girl. And then this happens.
Gods? There are no gods here. There are only monsters.
Just why? Yes, it sucked what happened to the girl, but she is already dead. In fact, she was willing to sacrifice herself just moments ago. These people have been following this tradition for God knows how long. Why not educate them? The most Witcher-like thing to do would be to throw the monster's head at their feet and say,
this is what you're afraid of. Monster, not a god. Stop killing your children.
That would have actually helped. So what was the point of killing all those villagers? Because it did not change anything. It just made Ciri come across like a one-note girl boss without any wisdom. Now let's talk about this. Geralt sees some guards tormenting a young woman. These were not some bigots with misplaced beliefs. These men were not ignorant, they were bullies. Actual monsters hiding behind a shining armor, misusing their authority and twisting the law to get away with it. And that girl was begging for help. And what does Geralt do? He doesn't posture. He doesn't monologue. He calmly tells the girl to close her eyes and handles it. Now it made sense cause the girl was alive and could be saved. Geralt achieved something with that encounter. He saved that innocent woman and made a super badass trailer in the process.
What are you doing?
Killing monsters.
What did Ciri achieve here? Absolutely nothing. Now let's talk about the tech demo. There's a brief moment where Ciri talks to this merchant. Just look at her body language. She doesn't act like an outcast. She does not act like her kind is hated. She acts like Iron Man. And this is not how Witchers interact with people. This is what pulled me out of the experience just like that. Now here's the thing. Most games these days look incredible. Just look at Expedition 33. But a game doesn't have to be just beautiful to be good. It's the rich, layered characters and a strong story that truly make it great. Now maybe since Ciri is rather new to this, the game will focus on her growth as a Witcher. Can't really say for sure, but if that's the case, that sounds good. However, there are still some major concerns about Ciri being a Witcheress in the first place. Now, I'm not speaking from a place of bias here. I'm not hung up on Geralt. The ending he got in the Blood and Wine DLC was a perfect conclusion to his story, so let the guy rest. Neither do I have a problem playing as a female protagonist. Playing as a female Witcher though is what I'm not a fan of, and especially when the female Witcher is Ciri. Now just a disclaimer, I'm not a scholar on the Witcher lore, I haven't read the books, and ditched this dog shit during the first episode of season 2, so I'll defer to people who know more than me. And if I do get anything wrong, please correct me in the comments. But here's the thing, girls can't be Witchers. The trial of grasses is an extremely deadly process, designed so that only a select few boys with the right physical attributes can survive. Only 1 in 10 boys make it out alive, scarred and changed forever. That's how lethal it is. Even the weaker males don't survive the process, so I dread to guess what would be the odds for a girl. It's just simple biology. Women are not as physically strong as men. Don't hate me for it, hate nature. Now, if someone in the Witcher universe suddenly had the time for a little DEI meeting and thought, you know what, let's make some Witcheresses, which is highly unlikely to begin with, because the Witcher world isn't set in 2025. It's a medieval world with monsters, bloody conflicts, and wars breaking out all the time. In a world like this, it's only natural instinct for men to protect the women and keep them out of harm's way. Otherwise, the human population would start to dwindle. Make sense? Of course it does. But still, for the sake of this argument, let's assume that someone really wanted to create a female Witcher. First, they'd have to completely rework the formula for female biology. And even then, if the success rate for boys is 1 in 10, for girls it would be probably 1 in 30, and maybe even worse. One more thing is the boys who go through the trials are young, prepubescent, or early adolescents at best. It's never been done on adults, because the process is made for underdeveloped bodies that can still be reshaped, which once again makes perfect sense, just like it's easier to train a pup than a full-grown dog. And let's not forget, during the events of Witcher 3, it's said that the formula was lost. Geralt and the others were the last of their kind. Now before you come at me with, but they performed the trials on Uma. Yeah, they did do something similar to break the curse, but that was a super risky workaround because the original formula was lost. So they gathered what they could, and Yennefer worked tirelessly to make sure things don't go to shit. And also in the books, there is no mention of Ciri undergoing the Witcher mutations. Now the thing is, I actually wanted to play as Ciri, but to explore her unique powers. Or if not that, any other Witcher story set long before Geralt. Maybe something like the Golden Age of Witchers. A time when there were more schools, more conflict, something close to the Nightmare of the Wolf story. But instead, they made Ciri a Witcher, which doesn't make sense cause no one in their right minds would let her undergo the process. So maybe Ciri is such a girl boss that she went behind everyone's back and became a Witcher on her own, or some stupid shit like this. And I just know they're going to use her elder blood as an excuse for everything, which wouldn't be a surprise since this guy is a lore developer, who just by the way defended what Netflix did with The Witcher. So in case you forgot, that's the guy working directly with the writers on this game. Let that sink in. Anyways, thanks for watching, drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you liked the video, and do let me know in the comments, what do you think about Witcher 4? Until next time, take care.